Today, we're going to talk about three things that are so powerful to fix your brain, to fix your sleep, to help you be healthier. Now, these three things I'm going to talk about relate to epigenetics, which are above your genetics. So, are things that you can do to turn on and turn off certain genes related to improving your health. And another purpose or function or action of these three things are a term called a hermetic effect. And this relates to giving a kind of a small dose of stress to create an adaptation to create some powerful benefits. So the first two actions are a combination of two things, cold and heat. And if you combine those two therapies together, it's called contrast therapy. Now, superficially, it's going to help your circulation because you're creating a vasodilation and a vasoconstriction effect, which increases circulation and basically communication to the whole body. So, anything that you can do to increase communication in the body will help you in amazing ways. But specifically, I want to dig down into there's two proteins that are involved with heat therapy and cold therapy. And let's start out first with the protein that's involved with heat. It's called the heat shock protein. So, what is this heat shock protein? It's a protein that gets triggered with various things, mostly heat, like a sauna, a jacuzzi, a hot shower, anything heat. It can also be stimulated with a fever. But there are other things that go beyond just heat that can stimulate these proteins as well, like fasting, calorie restricted diets, certain various phytochemicals in plants, hypoxia, like doing exercise at higher altitudes, and even breathing through your nose. And so when you trigger these heat shock proteins, you're creating an higher enhanced ability to repair, to rejuvenate, let's say from an injury or even from exercise. You're improving the immune system, you're decreasing stress, you're definitely increasing your ability to sleep at night. In regards to cancer, if you don't have cancer, it can actually prevent the risk of certain types of cancer. But there is some conflicting research on whether you should do this when you have cancer or not. And at this point, probably not a good idea. But if you don't have cancer, it's a good idea. So now let's switch to the cold. Okay. We have cold shock protein, which work a little bit differently. So, how do we trigger the cold shock proteins? Well, we drop the temperature, okay, primarily stimulated by cold. Now, this can be a cold shower. This could also be cold immersion therapy, which I recently bought one of those units, and it's quite amazing. There's also research to show that this therapy can decrease the risk of cancer. But some fascinating research that I want to mention that you might not know about is in its ability to help you lose weight because of the stimulation of brown fat and the increasing of metabolism. Apparently, the cold therapies help you lose weight and the heat therapies don't. Probably because they're just more uncomfortable and it shocks your body and it creates some real interesting changes. I know people that have allergies or certain chronic health problems that like fibromyalgia or even chronic fatigue syndrome. When they do cold therapy, whatever that immune circuitry is doing, it kind of snaps your body out of that state of illness. But cold therapy definitely can help decrease the risk of certain types of cancer. It greatly helps your sleep cycles. So, probably the reason why it improves your sleep is because it improves the brain. Yeah, cold therapy greatly increases certain things in the brain that help you fix the brain and make your brain protective against certain illnesses and inflammation. And so, this is why you also improve your cognitive function, your mood, your energy, and something called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is all about rest and recovery and regeneration. And it can help you lower the sympathetic nervous system, which is all about the cortisol and adrenaline. So, this is really good for stress. And so is heat therapy combined together. Now, both heat and cold therapy strengthen the immune system, even though it initially creates a stress on the immune system. I know yesterday when I got into this cold bath immersion therapy at 50 degrees, I really had to remind my body that I'm not in a dangerous state. I'm not in a pond that I just slipped through the ice. I can get out at any minute, and the key is just controlling your breath because it can actually be very uncomfortable, but I'm getting used to it. I can stay now in this cold immersion bath for about 5 minutes. Combination of using this cold and heat are really good for post exercise recovery, and especially for pain and anything related to your brain. So you really have a lot of great benefits going on when you combine these two. So we talked a little bit about heat therapy, talked about cold therapy. Now let's talk about the third action. And this is a type of exercise that I think is the most potent. It'll give you the most benefits in the least amount of time is sprinting. Now, what is so special about sprinting? A lot. It's a short workout because you can only go so far. And it's definitely part of the high intensity interval training pattern of exercise that I recommend. But with sprinting, you're actually using every muscle in your body. You're using your lower part of your body, you're using your upper part of the body for momentum to get your speed up. And what I like to do is do this for 10 seconds. Now, anyone can do a 10-second workout. You can do that without breathing. So, a 10-second workout, you don't even have to breathe. You can literally hold your breath and you can just start out with several of those spread out. I'm doing 7 of those per day. Now I'm doing other type of exercise too, but I mean, think about it. 70 seconds. Let's see, how long is 70 seconds? That's like a little bit more than a minute of exercise to produce some serious benefits. Sprinting aligns with how our bodies were designed, running away from a tiger or running towards an animal to get food. A lot of the benefit from sprinting occurs 24 or 48 hours after you're sprinting, not during the process because you're not really burning fat. But the fact that you do this high intensity, very short duration, you're going to find that your growth hormone at night is going to increase and that's going to help you lose weight. But it's also going to help a lot of other things as well, especially your heart, the inside of your arteries. And there is this certain molecule, it's called the myokine. And myokines have different effects depending on what type of exercise you do. But they're released by the muscle and then they do certain things throughout the body. One of the things they do is they increase your muscle growth, the mass of your muscles. So when you're doing sprinting, you're actually building up your muscles. They also increase making brown fat. That's the fat that helps increase your metabolism to help you lose more weight. The explosive type exercise stimulates the fast twitch muscles. So you have the slow twitch muscles, which are more for endurance, but the fast twitch muscles are more for explosive moves. And just so you know, as you age, you lose those fast twitch muscles. So this tends to directly counter the aging process and a very common condition called sarcopenia, which you're losing muscles as you're getting older. So sprinting can greatly prevent that. Can help your brain as far as memory improvement, focus, concentration, energy, especially sleep, and your overall mood. Okay. If you're depressed, you should do sprinting. If you have anxiety, you should do sprinting. Now, when you're doing sprinting, I recommend using some flat shoes so you don't have this tennis shoe that has a heel to it. You're just going to be more stable. If you're running on a flat surface or the hill that's going down, that's a little bit more dangerous than running up a hill slightly, not a steep hill, but found you can have more control over your body. So I run up a slight incline hill when I do these sprinting activities. Now, I like to vary it up. Sometimes I'll do 10 seconds, sometimes I'll go 15 seconds. But usually the first few seconds, you're running on a certain type of stored fuel. Then you kick into another system called the glycolysis, where you're running on your stored glucose, which is basically not using any oxygen. It's the anaerobic, and that lasts for maybe 1 to 2 minutes. And then what will happen, you're going to build up as a byproduct this lactate or lactic acid, and then your body's going to kind of cramp up unless you slow down and get more oxygen. So that's when the aerobic system kicks in. And so, what I recommend is when you do these workouts, don't ever go past a minute. Okay. Of course, when you're doing sprinting, we're only talking about, 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. But the key is the intensity. Okay. The more intensity, the more growth hormone that's stimulated. Of course, you need to do it within your capacity. If you have bad joint or you're getting older, you go slower and you work up to it. Maybe you even do the spin bike. The point is you want to take the concept very, very high intensity, short duration. I also like to combine this with resistance training, and I'll do all sorts of stretching type of exercises too, simply because of all the arthritis in my body from past injuries. And about a couple weeks ago, I bought these, they're called the mobility sticks, and I love that workout. I'm not affiliated with that company, but I think it's a great way to stretch your body in unique ways to get rid of myofascial scar tissue and things like that. So, a combination of these three things can be very, very powerful to add to your current healthy eating plan, as well as doing intermittent fasting. And I really think that these are the most potent natural types of medicine you can use on your body. I mean, really, when you think about it, what compares to the effects of these epigenetic factors? I mean, no drug can even come close to this. No therapy can come close to this. And if you can't do all three, do one of them because something is better than nothing. But I think the synergistic effect of all three of these are probably some of the most important epigenetic things to keep your genes helping you survive longer. Now, I touched on growth hormone. But if you haven't seen this video on growth hormone, I give a lot more data on this extremely important anti-aging and a hormone that can help you lose weight. I put it up right here. Check it out.